This is the 1936 Silvertone. I believe it's model 5444 or 4445, something like that. This was out of my wife's grandfather's house. I have already cleaned up the cabinet and restained it. Working on it. It's got the original tubes and all that in there. The object in this is, and radio guys, don't hate me. My plan is we're going to cut the top open. I'm going to case in, leaving the original works there. I'm going to cut this top section out up here, and it'll hinge open on the back, and inside will be cased. I have a cheap tower radio that has Bluetooth connection, has 3/16" jack audio input, so you can have different inputs. And I'm going to fix up the speakers in there. I have the original speaker. I'm not going to use it though. I'm just going to use all the guts from the well, they're right here, from that tower. I already dismantled it and chopped it into pieces. It was about a 3.5 foot tall tower that was maybe 6 inches by 6 inches. That's the bottom of the control unit. And it's all gonna fit inside there. We love the cabinet. We love that it's from family. But we don't love having a useless item. And even if we restored it, why do we need a 80-year-old AM radio? You know, so we're going to keep the look. It won't look any different from the outside. But the top will flip open. We'll be able to hook up iDevices, phones, etc. I have the original glass cover for the dial yet right here. That's going to get put back in. And hopefully I'm going to figure out a way I'm going to have the dial illuminate from the rear as well. Well, this is not clear, so it won't illuminate, but we'll have light shining down. I've read about these bakelite knobs using just car polish or just paste wax. So I'm going to take those off and work on those, see if I can shine them up a little bit. We got this cloth. The original cloth was kind of deteriorated in the speaker. I got this cloth, which is, it's a replica called Aztec, but it's advertised as a 1930-ish, 40-ish radio speaker cloth, and it does look kind of similar, especially in color, to what was in there. The pattern on the old original wasn't Aztec. I'm not sure what makes it Aztec. Is this a little dude or something? I'm not sure. But anyways, it's a cool looking material and it'll be good in the speaker cloth. So I'll do all my work on this and then I will show you a video of it completed and functioning. Stand by. Okay, so radio collectors and freaks, don't hate me. So here's what I did. That top has been cut out. There's a seam or a joint, I'm sorry, right along here where this was joined in. And I cut that out with a little oscillating saw and came out really easy, nice and neat. That's going to be my lid because that's going to hinge open. I'll build a box in here that will come from the bottom up over the top of the works, because I want to keep the works in there anyway, even though they're not functioning, because they are attached to the dial. I have put a coat of stain on it, I already touched it up, and I've got a coat of satin polyurethane on it right now. Make sure, see how that looks. You still see the white right now, it hasn't dried up yet. Once that's dry, then I will be putting on a second coat of polyurethane. I'll build in the inside, and you'll see all of that as it goes in. Well, you'll probably see it finished. I don't start with much of a plan usually. You got to measure, figure out what fits where, what works best. So, and of course, I'll paint the inside of that as well, because I'll just be using, plain white pine or whatever for the inside of the works there. And when it's done, you'll be able to open it up and plug in your iDevice or phone music player of some sort, whatever you want to hook up, and play it right over the speakers, and it'll be great. Believe me, I don't want to have a useless piece of furniture sitting in the house, but this is family piece, and we want to make sure we use it, so it's going to be usable. So keep watching. Thank you. Okay, so I'm Gunny. I'm here tonight to show you my 1936 Silvertone radio. I don't remember the exact model, but I think it's 4445. This is out of my wife's grandfather's house. It's in great shape. The lens cover was off. It's reattached now. The cabinet was a bit, pretty faded, not really scratched up, but just really faded. The material was rotted. The veneer was a little loose at some of the back corner edges. Fixed that all up. Now, I fix veneer usually. You get little glue behind it with a toothpick, and then you put wax paper over the corner, and then you, depending on how loose it is, you can either just use like painter's tape and put it across there and pull it down tight and do it down, or you can put a block of wood over the wax paper and then clamp it. The wax paper is so you can peel it off easy, and you might have a little tiny bit of wax paper residue, but that cleans off easily. Where if you glue a block of wood on there, now you got to figure out how to get a 2x4 off the side of your cabinet. So anyways, I took this cabinet all apart. I wanted to leave it as original as possible. Took all the guts out of it. I cleaned the whole thing off with steel wool, just a 4/0 steel wool. Just rubbed the whole cabinet down, cleaned any loose stain and debris off it and dirt. Then I reapplied 2 coats of stain, and I have 2 coats of satin polyurethane on it. We ordered this great material from a website. It was basically $25 for about a yard of it, but it is speaker cloth, and it's not vintage 1930, but it is a vintage 1930 style. That might not look like it really good in the video here, but this is a goldish color, and when it's lit up well, it shows a lot more gold. This particular pattern is called Aztec, and it's got some kind of pattern on it. I'm not sure what makes it Aztec. But took the knobs off, cleaned those up, put a little paste wax on them to kind of bring them back to life a little bit, put those back on. The buttons work. You can turn them on and off, but nothing's attached to the works. The original dial. Now here, this is where you're gonna, don't freak out, and I'll show you but watch. The lid opens. That's not original. Inside, and I'll show you this in just a minute, but I had a tower radio. It's just about 6 inches by 6 inches, and it was about this tall. Had 4 little speakers in it and all the electronics in the tower. I deconstructed it, basically tore it all apart. Used all the parts in here. So let me show you what I did. So here is the cabinet. The original works and tubes and everything are right here. I had to leave those in, I wanted to leave them in, plus the dial on the front is all attached to that. It's one piece. I could take it off and fix it in the front somehow, but I just wanted to leave it as it was. The cords are removed. They were just crumbling. But that radio was taken out. This is the power supply is on the back of this piece, just fastened it in the frame. This is the electronics that control the speakers from the control unit. That's just attached here and holds the wires in there. And I basically just built this case that fits right around the original tubes and gives me that little box to put the control unit in. The 4 speakers I drilled, this is the original speaker board. You might be able to see the original hole here. But I put the 4 little speakers in here. And I attached this bass speaker just with a little pair of alligator clips right here, so that plays angled up on the back. So you get a little bounce off the wall, gives it a little more of a surround sound to it, and just adds some overall better tone to the music. So that's what the back looks like. Very simple. Still all original case. Like I said, we have the original dial in it. You probably can't see it, but I have an LED puck light in here. It sits right behind the case. Because what that does is illuminates the dial. Well, it illuminates the inside of the case too, you can see that. So I'll leave that off right now. So let me show you inside. Okay, so all that's inside, there's that ProScan radio. This is the top section that was on the tower. It's cut off right below the electronics in it. And you saw where the wires come out. I just built this little frame, put it in here. That just sits down in it to hold it in place. Painted it all white just so it's light inside. I don't need lights in there. I can see in there. It's not a black cave in here. This is a remote for the ProScan. Doubtful it'll be used because the receiver for it's right here and the lid will be closed, so that really won't do much. Ordered this offset cable. I had there wasn't enough lid space here because this is the cable. It's got auxiliary input. This is what I use on my phone, really. I don't like using the Bluetooth and messing with that. I just plug it into the audio jack and play my music. And that's what I do. This takes a USB stick. You can plug in and play music from it. You can connect Bluetooth. I can insert an SD card with music on it. I can do the auxiliary input. And I can do FM radio. So there's lots of choices here. Like I said, the inside of the case, I had to cut out part of my floor just to fit over the top of the radio dial here. So making use of that, use this puck light, and it just sits right down in there. So if I want to, just playing some music, I put on the puck light, have it on fade so it goes through all the colors of the rainbow and the dial's illuminated. That looks pretty cool. And while you're playing, like I said, the offset plug here allowed me to be able to close the lid. Otherwise, I was going to have to kind of remodel it already after my initial build. So all in, the radio was out of my wife's grandfather's house. I had the ProScan radio tower for several years. I think I paid about $40 for it, probably 5-6 years ago. Puck light was a few bucks. The cord was about $12, and the speaker cloth was $25, and that's half of the material, so that's about $12-13 worth of material there. So that's all I've got in this. 40, 55, I don't know, 65, $70 total in this. And it's a great looking radio. And part of the reason is I don't want a useless piece of furniture sitting here taking up space. And I know the radio fanatics maybe are crying and weeping and gnashing of teeth right now, because I cut the top off this radio. But you know what? It makes it useful, and it puts it in our house. It's a family piece, it's an antique, and it's useful. So there you have the radio. So there you have the radio. I don't have anything playing on it right now. It's radio. It plays music. It sounds really good. The tower was not an expensive one. But it does sound really good, and adding that extra speaker on the back really helped out too. If you like this video, press like on YouTube there. Subscribe if you want to, and you'll see videos of other projects I work on occasion. And click the bell for notifications so you know when I post something new. Thanks a lot and have a great day. Semper Fi.